The National Man is a tax gatherer. The Labour Party is the greatest tax gathering organisation we've ever seen. Just as like we do in Queensland. Why don't they have small elections?
The 80s, what did it look like, Shane?
Corrupt. That's about it. No, well, corruption, yeah, but it was sort of, it always felt, compared to the rest of Australia, it was all very held back. You know, we were under Joe's, we were on Joe's clock. You know, we're going to do it. We're living in the 60s, and but it's actually the 80s.
Queensland, Rob.
Well, I felt like I was coming home because I actually was born in Brisbane, so coming back to Brisbane was not really, it was exciting actually, but I also did feel like a Canberra, and certainly the attitude in the south was that Queensland was behind the times.
I remember going over the border to New South Wales and feeling like it was a breath of fresh air.
Brisbane scene was the outsider scene because anyone who wanted to do well needed to go somewhere else. Everyone talks about the go-betweens and the Saints and later on, ups and downs and so on, but all of those bands left. So those of us who stayed in Brisbane, there was a sense you were defeated already.
To impersonate Joe.
Here we are in Queensland because it was such a conservative state.
It was a very conservative state, and we felt we were the arse end of Australia.
I think that the don't you worry about that was, we weren't supposed to be interested. Everything was going to be okay, we just had to trust the leaders. But I guess for me, spending a lot of time in the valley, just that the corruption and knowing the dirt that was underneath that was hard to ignore.
So with that limitation in mind, we had to try and come up with a kind of a song or a hit, and of course then I had to try to, with the other guys, organise a band practice and have a space, and then we had to work out our fashion, what we're going to look like.
You think about it now, thinking back then, it was probably the first thing that we all did where we didn't have an adult as such, an older person controlling us. It was suddenly that we were a group of people controlling us and not having a sports coach or, something like that. It was our sort of own doing.
So I managed to write our first, a potential song, and we managed to find a practice room, but we didn't have any money to record, and so we had to work out how we're going to raise money to record our song, to get it on the radio, so we can get out of Queensland.